Hello, and welcome to the Ascendant Art Podcast, where we are on a search for art that is ascending above the mainstream. This is Mike with Catalytic Comics with our co-hosts, Joey from Keeper's Cairn and Vinny from Little Chad. And tonight we have a comic creator guest, Nick with Project Access, and we are also going to be talking about 2100 Samurai. So, Nick, welcome to the show.
Hello. How you guys doing?
That's 2 weeks in a row the intro is just tripping you up bad, Mike.
I mean, seriously, I thought you had it, and then there was this weird
You were doing so good, and then you paused.
You were pulling up new windows or something. I mean, come on. We're professionals, Mike.
We're doing it live, dude. That's what it is.
We'll do it live.
We're doing it live.
I will Riley, eat your heart out.
I will figure out how to I'll
figure
out how to mute the playback soon enough. All right. Well,
give a shout out to Mrs. H. He's in the chat.
Yes. Let's see.
Mrs. H dominates our chat like Slender Dad and Literature Devil.
Mrs. H is the best. I'm friends with her on Twitter. She's amazing.
But yes, welcome all you guys. So I guess let's go ahead and dive into it. So Nick, tell us some about yourself and tell us about Project Access and then about your latest comic.
All right, just let me mute my phone first. Don't want any notifications come ringing in at the wrong time. Okay, now that ignorance is aside. So my name is Nick Gibson. I'm a comic book creator, and I'm most well known for the comics Project Access, which was my first one, as well as the one I'm kind of more well known for now, 2100 Samurai. And I'm also a big Sonic fan.
I was going to say you got the t-shirt and everything. So yeah, man, 2100 Samurai. So I took some time to read over the issues, and definitely it's a very interesting premise because I know normally when you have time-related stuff, it's always like, hey, like let's send someone from the modern era back in time to like those like stupid rubes back then. And like,
yeah, Terminator.
Yeah, or just the Middle Ages or to some other ancient place. But you had a little twist on that. Tell us about how this works.
So there's a samurai from feudal Japan, or what we think it is feudal Japan. You know, at the time there may be some shenanigans, things shrouded in mist or whatever, but that's kind of future plot. You know, spoilers. A portal opens up in their village, and Kiro and his fiance Mishi are traveled to the cyberpunk future of 2100.
Nice. And I'm trying to think. So there were a few things I noticed, especially like reading through issue 1. So we kind of like started off that they're both fiancés, and then of course they get there and there's trouble right away. As well, of course, in issue 1, Mishi got captured because I know the one that's coming out now is issue 2. So
yeah. So at this point, anything issue 1, spoilers are off for that one. It literally came out last year. I mean, it's kind of in the same league as Darth Vader being Luke's father.
Yep. But yeah, tell us about the Ensnar. Tell us about what the deal is with some of the big players in this world.
So Ensnar is kind of like your classic like mega corporation, you know, like Tyrell Corporation from like Blade Runner, or By and Large from Wall-E, you know, just kind of like that kind of like classic conglomerate cyberpunk kind of thing. And basically, you know, they kind of have like a bio division where they create these like things called biofreaks and whatnot, which are kind of like, you know, mutants. They do the bidding of Ensnar. Some of them have kind of like escaped and they're freelance. It's kind of this whole mess.
Yes, and of course, this is one of the interesting questions, I guess, always with these time traveling type things. That, like I said, usually I think of this in terms of like people who go back in time. The first thing is you're trying to make sense of the world, and this is one of the interesting questions of, to someone from ancient times, like how much, if you're just dropped into this new world, is just straight up magical? How much of it makes sense, doesn't make any sense? And actually, so this is actually a writing question, right? Like when you sat down to write this, like what did you look for to be able to get into the mindset of saying like, everything I think I know, I don't know. How can I be this person in this world?
I was kind of like getting a lot of inspiration from Captain America, you know, the man out of time kind of stuff, where a man from the 40s gets transported to 60s, 90s, 2000s, whenever they're doing the reboot, if you will. And it's him kind of dealing with the world. So that's kind of really that's kind of the well I was drawing from in terms of characterization.
Okay. So you kind of looked for existing stories to do that. You take the pieces, put them together, and kind of go at it from there.
Yeah.
And then also too, I guess tell us just a little bit about the inspiration of the story. Like what caused you to want to write this story?
Torrent Samurai is kind of like just a mashup of all my favorite things. There's definitely a lot of like Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, Matrix, Batman Beyond, all kind of like, picked apart, chopped up, put into a soup and heated up. And I'm writing this metaphor for as long as it'll take me.
So what does 2100 look like in your world setting?
Like kind of harkening back to what I said before, I draw a lot of like Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell influences. The city itself is a futuristic version of Detroit. I call it Neo Detroit, kind of harkening back to like Neo Gotham from Batman Beyond.
You didn't go with Omni City? I mean, come on.
I mean, in hindsight, that would have been cool, but only like really big mega nerds would have gotten that reference. Plus, it's kind of already taken.
That's true. Avoid the copyright issues.
So versus Neo Detroit, it's like I get that Batman Beyond kind of vibes going, and it still tells the audience everything they need to know.
No, absolutely. And
Detroit. Oh, okay.
Detroit.
Now I feel stupid because that name is fucking genius, and I kind of want to PayPal him $20 and buy that. Okay, that's even better. Okay.
I mean, you can
okay, I gotta say this right now. Your chats are geniuses. Like, the IQ is off the charts.
That's right. And I also got to tell you too, are you a Michigander originally? Because like I moved here for a couple years now. Born and raised. So you are already good on all of the good Detroit jokes.
Yes.
Because I was gonna say, thinking about we have a pretty decent comic scene up here now. I think about it, because like we had who's that?
I gotta jump in and interrupt you for a second, Mike. You called it a Michigander?
Yes, they're called Michiganders.
Yeah, you're not being born and raised there shows. It's Michigander.
Michiganians.
Oh, that's right.
Also, we call it pop. It's called pop, not soda.
It is pop.
Hey, I'm from Georgia.
As a fellow Midwesterner, I can attest to these things.
I mean, Coke is Coke, but pop is pop.
Yeah, so no one will ever ask you what flavor Coke you want. If you ask for a Coke, you're getting a Coke.
And crack is whack, so we can.
Also, crack kills. So pull up your fucking pants.
Yeah. So now
there you go.
To just steer it back to an actual creator question. I noticed that when you were talking about your aesthetic inspirations, you mentioned Batman Beyond, you got Blade Runner. What I was noticing is that there's a common theme where most of those future type stories are based on corporate overlords. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's going to be something that would be probably another feature of your story.
Yeah, a war, kind of like warring against tyrannical corporations and whatnot. It's kind of it's not really something I've intended, but like a lot of my stories end up having elements of like tyrannical corporations that overstep their bounds, which it just seems like more as time goes on, those scenes become more and more pertinent and relevant. Because like a lot of my early comic books were originally created like 10, 15 years ago. And it was kind of like in a mid 2000s mindset where these ideas were genocides, but they're more relevant now than even then.
So 10, 15 years ago. So you've been doing this for a while then?
Yes and no. I was kind of like, I first created Torrent Samurai in like my senior year of high school. Then it kind of sat on a shelf. I was a part of a company up in Flint for about 10 years. I got the first version of Project Access out in about 2018-ish, and then 2019, I left that company, started my own. I've kind of been really pushing since then.
Okay, well, chat has completely derailed me with their silly Detroit pun, but
I mean, it's chat. What do you expect?
It gave
it's kind
me
of its own
another
organism.
idea. If your samurai who's living in the future doesn't have a job yet, he should open a tea house and call it Samurai Chai.
For the audio podcast listeners, a one-finger salute was offered towards that idea.
No, if my samurai is going to open a tea shop, it's going to be called Leaves from the Vine and nothing else.
I mean,
if you're an Avatar fan, you get the reference.
I was about to say, badass characters can open tea shops. Uncle Iroh, totally.
The Dragon of the West.
Yeah, so
that's right.
A beloved character.
I just hope no one sings the song because I'm probably going to cry.
With time traveling aspects to it, I mean, I'm guessing, did you ever also watch Samurai Jack? Because I'm guessing you get that a lot.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I get it like all the time. And it's I've like seen clips of it, but what's actually really kind of fucking sucks is everyone tells me Samurai Jack, and now I feel like I can't watch it because if I do, I feel like I might get ideas and I just rip it off. So now, thanks everybody. Now I can't watch Samurai Jack because then I might ruin my comic book. You guys are awesome. I love you. That last part was I'm actually being serious. I do love you guys, but
this brings up another question that I think is interesting from a creator standpoint. How much is it where you have fun with influences versus risking people thinking you're outright lifting ideas?
Yeah, that is a tightrope.
Yeah, so how do you approach that?
Well, I kind of take it in like tiers where it's like names, kind of places are fine, but like you got to be really careful when you start getting into like moments, when you start going into like homages and whatnot, because like there's kind of a very thin line between like influence and inspired by and just straight out ripping off. So it's
similar with if you're writing something dramatic versus a parody. It becomes a very fine line.
Yes. Unless you're Mel Brooks, in that case, the line just doesn't exist.
Mel Brooks can do whatever he wants.
I mean,
yes, he is Mel Brooks.
I believe that. But I do think Dracula Dead and Loving It was maybe not the best work.
It was his last film, which kind of.
Oh no, wait! I'm sorry, he's not Nazi. I did it again. I mixed him up with Mel Gibson, but Mel Brooks is also able to do whatever he wants.
Wait, hold on.
You know what?
Let's rewind and say you mixed up Mel Brooks and Mel Gibson.
I mixed up Mel's. Fuck
that's
you,
actually that's pretty
heresy.
I was gonna say, it's my job to not know what's going on, so I can ask all the questions. Like, I depend on you guys.
I said chat derailed me with their jokes. My brain is just thinking up jokes at this point.
I remember when Mel Brooks was in that really, was in Lethal Weapon 4 fighting, no, this is terrible.
You remember when he did Passion of the Christ? Yeah, I know.
I think he did that in History of the World Part 1.
Remember when he made that Aztec movie and he had at the ending was the conquistadors arriving 500 years earlier than when they were supposed to?
Yeah,
minor detail.
Minor. It's just 500 years. No one really cares.
The Patriot versus Spaceballs in chat, as mentioned by.
That is a movie I would pay a lot of money to see.
King George, President Scrooge. There's probably you didn't get them. Leadership.
You got them stunt doubles.
Yes.
Well, not to mention the merchandising joke gets more and more accurate.
She went from suck to blow.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I love that movie. I can just quote it like, wrong screen, you got the wrong screen. This is a private screen.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's like you're at now. This is now.
Yeah, that was one of the
what am I looking at here? What's all this churning and bubbling? You call that a radar?
Mel Brooks is a great example of using inspiration to, you're clearly lifting from what other work but you're making your own. Like Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars and a whole bunch of other, big budget kind of movies. And even though it exists solely because it's a parody of those things, as we just did right there, we didn't mention Star Wars or anything else like that. We were existing purely just fanning out over Spaceballs, which is its own product. So
yeah, I think it's kind of the context that really matters, because like when you're watching Spaceballs, you realize you're watching satire. And when you're viewing it through the lens of satire, when you see something that like the whole teleporter scene, part of the comedy is, oh, they're riffing off of Star Trek. They're making fun of Star Trek.
To be aware, there is technically a television sequel to Spaceballs. They did an animated series for G4 TV that was pretty bad, but it was actually like Mel Brooks back and doing it. It wasn't good.
That's sad, because I was really hoping for Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
Me too. Actually, you know what's like the biggest missed opportunity? I wish during the height of the zombie craze, Mel Brooks would have made a movie based on the Zombie Survival Guide, which was written by his son. Mark Brooks wrote the Zombie Survival Guide.
Oh, I have that.
Yep.
But they
written by his son, so like the rights would have been easy to obtain.
Yeah, but Shaun of the Dead kind of took that one.
But they also did World War Z. Wasn't World War Z written by his son too? I don't know.
But I would have loved to see Mel Brooks do a take on the zombie craze. That would have been so good.
I don't know, because I mean, after Dracula Dead and loving it, I just
There's
I don't
also
know.
Zombieland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's
Sequel,
pretty
not so much.
satirical.
I actually enjoyed Double Tap. I mean,
I mean, Double Tap wasn't bad. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Just the first one was really good.
I mean, the character of Madison was so hilariously like millennial. It just made me.
Was that which one was that? Was that Emma Stone's character or the other one?
That was the one they introduced for the
Oh,
sequel.
Madison, the blonde, yeah.
Yeah, who wore like
that girl was so talented.
yeah.
She did the thing so well.
And it's just funny. Yeah, Max.
And I love the whole twist on Nut Up or Shut Up, where they kind of did a twist on it. Yeah, I'm not going to say more, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. It just
so I forgot,
okay. So Miss H just had a question for us. Will you be branching out into satire / comedy since we're having so much fun with it?
I'm not going to say no. It's not like something I'm actively planning. I'm not opposed to it. Ask anyone. Comedy is actually one of the hardest things to write. Plus, whenever I do comedy in my books, it always kind of comes across very dry. But on the flip side, I'm a lover of like slapstick, so it's kind of hard to marry the two. Like never say never. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's not something I'm actively planning at the moment.
Yeah, because comedy does, it's one of the things when you look at actors who transition, it's really easy. No, I shouldn't say easy, but you see a lot of comedic actors who turn into dramatic actors. They can go
look at Bill Burr.
They can they can do dramatic roles. What you don't see a lot of is dramatic actors that are able to transition into doing comedy, because like you mentioned, comedy is timing, and there's a lot of elements that you've really got to have just innately to do well. And
yeah, that's why you see a lot of stand-up comedians make the transition to like Dennis Leary was a stand-up comedian, and he's actually a really good actor. Robin Williams, perfect example. Like, that man is like one of the funniest men to ever live, but he was also one of the best dramatic actors. Dead Poet Society.
I mean, he had a good run. I mean, I know he won his Oscar for Good Will Hunting, but I mean, there was some movies there.
Not your fault.
Yeah,
not your fault.
Exactly. But one of the more underrated movies that I think doesn't get as much credit as it should was What Dreams May Come. He was in that one, which I think is visually very, very amazing movie. But I think
keep hearing about that movie. I need to check it out.
But the message of it is also really good. It's I mean, if you've ever lost family members, it's gonna probably hit you. I actually really enjoy that movie and do recommend it. But it is a good example. Like you were just like, Robin Williams could turn on a dime and go into a dramatic movie. But and then he could turn around and be a comedic actor again. But you don't see it the other way. So I can understand why it's something where if you don't feel like you've got that, you probably don't want to get into it.
Didn't he play like a psychopath in a couple movies too? Like, what was it, a 24-hour photo or something like that?
Yep, 24-hour photo. And some chat mentioned Final Cut, which is that movie was a very interesting concept, which is in the future you can get an implant that will actually copy all of your memories from your entire life. And when you pass away, at your wake or whatever, they do a highlight reel. And so there's people whose job it is to be an editor of your life. Right? Like,
wow, that's pretty high concept.
Yeah, but it's I mean, it actually it was kind of.
I think I've heard a line from. Don't they talk about a door being green and somebody else thought it was red or something like that?
Oh, is that like a curtains are blue situation?
It was. I don't know. I'd never seen the movie because I don't really like depressing movies. Like I remember What Dreams May Come, and I was just like, this movie is depressing.
It's actually super. I mean, if you can stick through it all the way to the end, it's got a good redemption arc for a movie. Like, I mean, but yeah, I mean, when people get to the afterlife through traumatic circumstances, there's gonna be some, depression involved. In fact, depression is a major theme of the movie, so you're gonna, have to do it. But we're kind of getting off track because we want to let.
Yeah, this is free play talk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plus, I was just looking at what Spooky Pretzels was saying. Red doors are never a good sign in horror movies. I take it they've seen The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, the red was all through The Sixth Sense. We've talked about in some previous episodes of our podcast about the way M. Night Shyamalan would work thematic stuff in through his movies, at least through the first three, which was Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs.
I do feel like Split was good. I did like Split. Glass, I felt like he was trying to do he was trying to merge his style with like the superhero stuff, which I feel like it didn't really work. I did like Split kind of because it kind of became it's like the whole like, oh, it's in the Unbreakable universe. Like, oh, that was kind of a cool twist, and Glass was kind of inevitable after that. And I thought Glass was fine, but it just was a bit disappointing.
I agree. I mean, I liked Glass.
I mean, who else is? Oh, I'm sorry. Slender Dad is like, who else are going to take the hobbits to Isengard? God.
So when you're doing your projects, we talk about thematic storytelling, working in, allusions to later parts of your story, foreshadowing, things like that. When you're working on an indie project where you're not always sure you're going to get another issue because the success of one leads directly to the other. It's not like Marvel or DC where they can give you at least a 6-issue run to tell your story. How do you balance trying to build for the future story versus creating a satisfying single issue experience?
Well, it's pretty much exactly what you said. I try to like focus on creating a good issue and then like sprinkling stuff in there, setting stuff up, because if I focus too much on a single issue, I might not hook people to want to see the next one. And if I focus too much on setting some stuff up, it's kind of like, push and pull. So I try to focus on putting a good issue, but also setting stuff up. So it's like pretty much exactly what you said.
So it's kind of like pretty much like you have kind of a checklist almost of this issue on its own will be good enough if for some reason we're forced to stop. But I do have like a plot line in the background. So like I know where I'm going to go.
I leads more towards like just telling a good story. If it gets cut off, kind of an oh well situation, because like I kind of plan things out in story arcs. Like this initial arc is 5 issues long, and so like I'm kind of planning with that one. I'm kind of doing like the Buffy method, where like if you kind of watch a Buffy episode, it would kind of be like episode of the week, but they kind of have like a season long story arc where like they introduce stuff here and there, like maybe spend like the last 20 minutes on like the season stuff. I also kind of draw from the X-Files method where they have mythology episodes sprinkled in among the season where the rest of it's just kind of monster of the week kind of stuff. So I do a mixture of those kind of too.
And also too, because I know you're currently fundraising for your second issue.
It's coming up April 8th.
April 8th, yep. So yeah, we're coming up on that. And I remember correctly, you said it's 5-issue series, this first one?
Yeah, the first story arc is 5 issues, and I'm currently on issue 2.
Oh, cool. And just kind of like a production process, like with the sausage getting made. So what roles do you actually play in the production of the comic? What does your team kind of look like? And then after that, I'll ask just the different ways you'll be releasing it.
So I serve as the initial writer. I write, I come up with the concept, I write the script, and then I work with an editor to like refine it and get all the spelling and grammar mistakes out. And then any plot details that I may have missed, they spot it, and then tell me, oh, this part sucks, change it. And then it becomes a better script after that. Then from there, I work with an artist. So in Torrent Samurai, it's kind of a 2-person affair. And then there's me and there's this artist I work with named Brian. And he does like all the art related stuff. So I kind of hand off the script to him. I kind of give him instructions like, this is kind of how I want it to look. Maybe even sometimes I'll do like thumbnails of like the whole series. Kind of send it off to him, and then like he does like the initial sketches, and then we kind of work out like, okay, this, that, and then like he sends it to me and I approve it. So I'm kind of like the art editor, but as far as the writing, I hand it off to someone else because like it's better that way anyway. Then from there, I work with a cover artist. I do graphic design for like the credits pages.
No, very nice. So I was gonna say it sounds kind of so when you mentioned graphics, because like I'm doing that a little bit for mine, and then also when you mentioned about the editor, because like for my book we just finished the editing process for issue 1, went through like 4 drafts in the process. Tell us about the fun of the editorial process.
Mrs. H kind of hit the nail on the head. She's kind of quoting an inside joke right now because I'm friends with her on Twitter, so that's why I'm keep bringing her up because we're mutuals on Twitter and we interact a lot. And,
me too. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is, and she's kind of like referencing Shoegate, like because I with the character design, I had an issue with the character design where like the shoes are too big, and I kind of felt like they were a little bit too Looney Tunes cartoon-esque. I had to kind of get the artist to slim it down a little bit, it's because I view things like a back and a forth process where it's like
you don't like Kingdom Hearts feet. Did you never play that game? They have huge shoes because
I've tried to play Kingdom Hearts.
They're drawn like Disney characters.
That fucking camera kills me every time. I get a lot of people like Kingdom Hearts, and that's cool and all, but like I just can't play Kingdom Hearts because like just the camera is just so bad. Because like the shoulder buttons and whatnot. It's like I really hate games where they have shitty platforming, and then they make you platform. I hate those so bad.
It seems like that's part of their editorial process there.
Yeah,
just needed to consider that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a back and a forth, and like I always, and whenever I give feedback, I always try to do like the sandwich method, where it's like positive, negative, positive kind of thing. Where like I start like, hey, overall I really like this. Here's some stuff I might need to be changed. But yeah, it's really good. You're doing a great job. Kind of a sandwich method. It's kind of a managerial technique.
Yeah, especially I guess especially if you're working with artists, because that's another part of it too, is just like the whole process of building the relationship with the artist, with your different team members. Because of course, if you don't maintain those relationships, right, it makes everything so much harder in the process. And
yeah, I've learned that the hard way. It's kind of been a process where it's like I've learned like, okay, don't you need to respect the artist, but also like don't push him too hard. You got to but it's also like learn to be direct, how to be direct, like how to give feedback and whatnot. Because like I've made a lot of mistakes kind of getting to where I am. I mean, a lot of people have, and so I just kind of treat it like a learning process.
And then also too, one question we like to ask every single creator who comes on here is, can you tell us one major change that happened in the lead up to like your issue 1 or your issue 2? When you said, oh, I was going to do it this way, but you know what? Actually, I think I better do it that way.
Originally, the plan was, so Kira wears like kind of traditional samurai armor. And originally the plan was in issue 2, he was going to sell his armor, make a crap ton of money, and then buy like this polymer suit kind of thing. And that would have been like his futuristic samurai suit kind of thing. I did issue 1, then going into issue 2, I kind of had this revelation where it's like, it's kind of stupid to introduce a costume in issue 2 and then issue 2 just wipe it all away. Like I kind of flex some stuff away with issue 2, but there's only so much that you can do before it's like, what was even the point of issue 1? And then like the initial designs for the armor came back and they were just so good. I couldn't really bring myself to get rid of them. So I decided like, okay, he's just gonna keep his armor, and I kind of rewrote it to where like Tyler kind of pushes him and like he trips and like his coin purse rips open and like a bunch of gold coins come out and like, oh, those are valuable. That's what he sells. And then that's how he has no need for money, because like he has these really ancient coins that are worth like $1 million a piece. So instead of selling the armor, he sells the coins. He gets to keep the armor, and then later on, I'm going to give him like more of a casual outfit, but he'll still have his sword on him. So like there will be more casual outfit that'll show up later. But like when he knows he's going into battle, he wears his armor.
So he wants to stick with it. There you go. And then we'll see how well the this very ancient armor holds up against futuristic weaponry. Although, sometimes weapons are designed for certain situations and certain types of things to be shot at. So who knows? Maybe they've designed in such a different direction, it still works. Who knows?
Yeah, and I will say, the swords themselves are magical. There's kind of like a magical kind of element to it. So yeah, like Dark Train said, no nano suit for you. Also, no capes.
I mean, anytime you can work in an Incredibles reference, I usually lean into the when everyone's super, no one is. But that,
no. I mean, that line is just it's just such gold.
Did you ever see it was I think it was How It Should Have Ended, where they made the point that Iron Man 3 is the Incredibles. Like they basically lifted the entire plot from the Incredibles to make Iron Man 3.
I don't really see that, but
well, think about it. All right. We'll do a little side.
Is the extremist being the everyone super angle?
Yeah, because at the beginning of Iron Man 3, Tony Stark blows off Guy Pearce's character and just rejects him because
oh my god,
and that's
right.
what motivates Guy Pearce to make his entire business and his technology that's around making everyone super.
Now I'm wishing Adrian Killian had been played by Robert Patrick. That would have made it so much better.
So I think earlier we were talking about this concept of using influences versus like lifting stuff. And apparently, among the industry pros, they'll just take every single bit of it.
Oh, in Hollywood, it's so they don't even care, so it doesn't matter. But yeah,
I actually once watched this video where it was like a compilation of like references to the Akira slide, and like they've been referencing the Akira slide in both anime and American media for like 30 plus years. It's crazy how many cartoons do that even to this day,
because it was so good. I mean, Akira is I really actually enjoy Akira. I don't think it's the best anime ever made.
From a technical perspective, it is in like the top 2.
It's good, but the story is very loose.
That's what I'm going to say. The story is, it's back in the era where anime could just kind of be.
Yeah, there was a lot of suspend your disbelief. Just fucking go with it.
For me, like when you realize they did all of that shit by hand, there's no CG in that movie. That to me is kind of what makes it really impressive.
I'm gonna be such an anime snob and be like, well, Ghibli was actually I think more influential than Akira overall.
Whatever.
I'm just going to imagine your head just sprouted a fedora. I'm just going to imagine that. Right
well, I mean,
Studio Ghibli is just, oh my god, they're so.
I mean, remember, I got to actually go to movie theaters in Japan and watch them when they came out. So, it was a little different experience. I'm not a Johnny Come Lately. I saw Nausicaa when it came out.
So Spooky Pretzels raised an interesting question. I'm not really the biggest fan of Cal art style. I feel it's very uninspired.
You're in good company.
Yes.
Oh my god, we have a whole highlight reel about how we hate the Cal art style.
I do like Rubber Hose style, but I feel like the thing with Rubber Hose is it's not used as much. If Rubber Hose was as overexposed as Cal arts, I would probably feel the same way as I do about it. That's really my feeling.
I think for a lot of people, the Rubber Hose style, it has a nostalgia factor to it because you go back and look at Looney Tunes.
Popeye!
Yeah, like the Rubber Hose style was extremely prominent way back in the day.
I mean, I'm gonna give the it's weird to say it, but I give the Rubber Hose style kind of more slack because it was when animation was new. Like, like this was something
and took a lot more time to do.
It took a lot more time and effort to do. It's not like they were around when then you could just download a PNG file of a loaf of bread and throw it into your cartoon series.
High Guardian Spice!
Oh boy.
We need to popularize the phrase bread PNG as just like a way of saying like just cheaply done animation. Like that just needs to be the term for it going forward.
Or we could just say the cartoon was High Guardian Spiced.
High Guardian Spiced. That's good.
I mean, we don't get through an episode without referencing High Guardian Spice or I Am Not Starfire, so...
That's right.
Oh dear God, I'd forgotten about that comic. Oh dear God.
Or like how I did that entire side video rebooting Mother of Madness. You want to know what the secret was?
I swear, I'm giving you so many reaction gifts right now. I should be charging you.
You should. Not to mention all the great ideas we've had. High Guardian Spice, that's a good one. But yeah, no. So the Mother of Madness one. So that was, I want to say it's like the Troll 2 of comics. But Troll 2 was actually funny if you look at it the right way. Oh my
god!
In the sense of like it's considered the worst movie ever made, in this case the worst comic ever made. So we figured out like, hey, like I can rewrite this entire comic by just like lifting a couple of like pieces from that intro speech and just like writing a completely different comic based on those properties.
I mean, I know it's the worst comic you've encountered, Mike, but I'm going to tell you, it may not be the worst comic ever made.
There are some really bad ones out
there.
There's
decades of stuff.
Most of them are currently in comic book stores, and they have DC and Marvel labels on them.
And they include things like a bathtub that is in front of a door. If you saw,
oh my god, I saw that on Twitter. I was like, did anyone look at this? Did anyone actually look at this? Like, did it like an animation director look at this and say, what the fuck are you smoking? Because I want some.
Yeah, I was gonna say later on in the free play, I'm gonna bring up we found someone, they actually did an image where they traced all the perspective lines, and that is awesome.
That sounds like a great glad situation if I'm getting the name right. Honestly, finding out tracing it, I feel like that's a little bit better than just like screwing up without even realizing it. At least the tracing, there's some intention to it.
Yep. Tell us about the Kickstarter and then just like any other projects you're planning to do right now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share my screen. Oh my god, put the Mrs. H comment up. It's fire.
Joey's
So,
gonna go right on that.
I'm actually working on one of those right now.
Joey is our artist.
So this is the campaign, and I'm trying to get $1,000, hopefully more. Hopefully. That's a character design for Kiro with my but ugly colors. That's Tyler. Oh, Tyler Schnee.
That's
her last
a reference
name
to something I used to like.
Yeah, yes. Multicolor team done by the Cock Teeth Network.
The Cockbite Network back before it was Monty Ohm created the whole thing, and it was fantastic.
Rest in peace, Monty Ohm.
Yeah, it was fantastic until he died, and then they wrecked it. They ruined it, and
I was a big fan of Ruby in the early seasons. I think I saw like seasons 1 through 4, part with I think 5, and I started to watch 6, but it just became
hey, fans, who do you want us to ship next?
My problem was the plot kept expanding. Like first it was, oh, the Vital Festival, and it just kept they just kept adding to the plot. Like it was like a treadmill. Like as soon as you thought you were close to the end goal, like, oh no, we're gonna drop this stuff. Yes, Mrs. H is correct. The first issue sold out. I did a convention a few weeks ago where I sold 75 comics and sold out of the entirety of the first run of issue 1.
Nice,
excellent.
Mm-hmm. Tell if you get this reference, you're awesome.
Vinny, that one's on you.
It's strength to kill 50 men.
It's ringing a bell, but
what said is in Bram Stoker's Dracula, it talks about him having the strength of 30 men. Like
you are so way off. The greatest anime set in the heart of Texas.
Oh, is that
I kill 50 men.
Wait,
Cotton
what?
from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Oh.
My influences are vast.
It's 9 o'clock at night and already the boy ain't right.
That boy just ain't right. Gosh dang it, Dale. So people already were liking my stuff and they're ready to drop that dough. I'm just reading what Mrs. H is telling me to say. She has an invisible gun to my head right now.
She's coaching you very well.
Yes, she is gold. She is gold. This is what you can expect for issue 2. This is an actual page. And this comic is mature rated. I say all the naughty words.
Not safe for Baptists, for sure.
No, not safe for church either. In fact, it might burn up if you.
Now you mentioned you sold out of your first run. Are you going to do a tier where people can get the issue 1 and 2? I'm guessing
that's a spoiler alert, but yes, I'm getting to that. I'm just kind of doing like a quick overview. There's my pretty face at the lake. I do an overview of like the team and whatnot.
I feel like you need a new picture for yourself because you look very edgy in that photo.
And at the lake, is that Lake Huron?
I think it's Belleville Lake, probably.
Oh, okay, that lake, not the great one.
No, not very great. So this is the main artist, and then my biggest claim to fame is Arvell Jones did the cover for 2100 Samurai. For $4, you can get both issue 1 and 2 digital. $10 gets you a physical issue 2 as well as the digital copies of issue 1 and 2. $15, we add in the set 2 of trading cards. I did a set of trading cards for the first campaign, and I'm doing another set. $20, you can get a holographic issue. And then I got like a special backer edition. It'll be hand numbered. Like I'll say like 1 to 25. It'll be signed, holographic. It'll really be awesome. And those only 25 of those. If I'm boring you guys, just let me know and I can kind of speed it up and whatnot.
I'm not getting bored, but I will say, and this is a personal preference thing, and I have to imagine a lot of people share it, but like I like having the physical copies. And with the way these are tiered out right now, I got to spend $50 if I want to get a physical copy of issue 1.
There is an add-on perk to where with this one for an extra $5, you can get a copy of issue 1.
You should put that out front. Make that known so that people don't miss it.
That's right. Because I definitely want to add those to my collection over there. I bought my first comic long box after we started doing this podcast.
See this right here? That's an add-on perk for a physical copy of issue 1. It's attached to the $10, $15, and $20 tier.
Perfect.
And so that's just an added $5. There's no extra shipping. By the way, all this is free shipping. So I don't charge extra for shipping. I've learned that lesson. $100 is where you can get your name in the book. 4 of a kind, I'm going to actually commission an artist on Twitter. Her name is Lost Lenore. She's agreed to do a Turned Samurai print. There's going to be 4 of them. That's all there's ever going to be. And then Drawn to the Fame is where you can actually be drawn into the book. You can actually be a character in the book.
So if I can come up with $500, Slender Dad could appear in the book.
Yes.
Challenge accepted.
And
I got kids to feed.
Just real quick, has anyone ever heard of someone doing a crowdfunding campaign to earn enough money to get a crowdfunding campaign perk? I want to be the character in the book, and in order to do that, I need $500 to get there. So
also, for the record, there's only 2 people who will ever get to be drawn into the book. So
it's a race against time.
So I think we ought to do that experiment. We should see if we can crowdfund the money to get a crowdfunded perk.
Well, it goes live on April 8th, and then it'll be up for a month, and then I'm kind of have a feeling I'll probably be funded within the first week or 2. I'm hoping for the first day. Like, I'm kind of hoping like I get some big spenders the first day and it gets funded. So my goal, like, 1,000 is like the minimum I need to do like a 500 copy print run. I'm just kind of doing for like the most of it. But like if I get more, I can increase the print run. I could do more, and then maybe like put some of that money into like future comics, because I got another comic that I'm doing coming up. I keep talking about this super secret project, and I keep teasing it. I'm going to give you guys an exclusive here. All right. Just
all right.
Give me I'm going to show you the symbol for the character. I'm not going to name it, but I'm going to show you the symbol.
All right. Well, tell you what, I'm going to take the stream off. Are you ready to show it?
Yeah, I'm showing it right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, there it is. That is the symbol for the character. Yes, it's
now the question is it an owl or a saber-toothed tiger or both?
This isn't Power Rangers.
Aww.
I wish it was. I wish it was, but this isn't Power Rangers. Also, the character's name is Screecher.
The Screecher.
Good
that gives us a hint.
Does the Screecher can work in Detroit?
You guys are just squeezing all this info out of me. I hate you.
Yeah, because we're twisting your arm about it. We're like, hey, give us all the exclusives.
That's right.
You want people to know
all the exclusives.
Yeah, but like, I want to do this contest because I'm going to actually be including a preview page in Turned Samurai issue 2 of this new character, and I actually want to do a contest where the first person to post a photo of it will get a free issue of the comic. I actually want the fans to unveil the character. I just thought that would be a great idea, community engagement, get people involved, and then a chance for people to get a free copy of the book when it comes out in October.
For some reason, I'm thinking about a little bit different challenge, which was when I was a student at Georgia Tech, we had an ongoing challenge the university did that if you could steal the T off of Tech Tower and get a picture of a selfie of you with it at the Grand Canyon, they wouldn't press charges.
I assume you have to return the T after you take the picture of the Grand Canyon.
So, something like that.
They're like, okay, you've successfully completed the challenge. Now please return it, and there will be no issues. We totally won't have cops hiding in the bushes waiting to arrest you when you get here.
I mean, if you already got past the what is that? The cut sensitive security cable that thing's tied up in. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking like we should have some fun with this challenge. But so the contest again is going to be what? So show a picture with the character. First person to reveal it wins. Yeah,
like basically post it on Twitter, tag me in it. Maybe throw up a hashtag. Probably not, but I don't know. At least tag me in it, and then like I'll comment under it like, congratulations, you're a winner. Maybe I'll do maybe when it happens I'll do by Fifth Element like, congratulations, you're a winner.
Awesome. Wait. Why do I feel like there's a reference to Fifth Element here?
Because I just said
Fifth Element.
Or I could do like Unreal Tournament like, congratulations, you're a winner.
Oh man,
I'm sorry, but I love my late 90s or 2000s references.
Unreal
they
Tournament.
are.
That's
They're
like
really great.
that was like the third tier. I mean, I played it. I enjoyed it, but that was a deep cut for fighting games.
That was a shooter.
Wait, which one did you say?
Unreal Tournament.
Oh, Unreal Tournament. Oh, why am I thinking of Killer Instinct for some reason? I'm terrible.
Yeah, Killer Instinct was more of a mid 90s
Yeah,
franchise.
Unreal
Like,
Tournament. Oh, man.
yeah, Unreal Tournament was like late 90s, early 2000s kind of era. Kind of a different era.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for Unreal was the Unreal Engine. I mean, it's funny that the game engine that was developed out of it is more successful than the game was.
Yeah, like because like they did Unreal 2, The Awakening. Unreal Tournament actually ended up being more successful than the actual game, which honestly, Unreal Tournament is still fun to this day. I love kind of playing that game.
Yeah, I think like Half-Life just overshadowed it as a PC shooter at that time.
I was going to say
that
Half-Life
game.
2 was so iconic. That was what got me into gaming.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still I love that Half-Life 3 is still something people talk about.
I mean, technically, we got a Half-Life 3. It's just called Half-Life Alyx. I'm imitating Gabe Newell. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, that's the closest you're ever gonna get. They've already said there will be no Half-Life 3.
I mean, well, you know what really sucks is kind of spoiler for Half-Life Alyx. They kind of create an alternate timeline where there could be a Half-Life 3. You know, like if you actually kind of watch, there could be a sequel to Half-Life Alyx, or whatnot. Because if you watch it,
Mm-hmm.
Time travel and alternate timelines are so you gotta. As someone who's playing with time travel in your story, just be careful because it's such a crutch and such a pain.
Rant incoming. I'm actually getting really sick and tired of multiverse. It's more of a crutch nowadays than time travel. Oh, we have this character, just shove them in an alternate reality, and we can cross over to them. I'm trying to rein myself.
We run
in
ourselves into a corner. Let's just start over in another reality. Maybe we'll find a way to fix it later.
I mean, it's cool. Like, I like No Way Home. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm just as susceptible to seeing my favorite characters react to each other and reenact the Spider-Man meme in live action. Like, yeah, that's cool. I love it. I'll eat that shit up. But like, it's just kind of like everyone's doing multiverses now, and it's.
I'll just say this, I have never liked the concept. The idea of like from a narrative perspective, it's like if I don't like how it's going here, hey, let's just flip over there.
Like, I don't mind it as kind of like a special event kind of thing where like as like a way to get these characters together for crossovers. Like, okay, I'll buy it then. But as a everyday thing, unless it's the Flash is the only thing that gets a pass. Or it's Rick and Morty, where I feel like Rick and Morty, they actually take the multiverse stuff and kind of narratively weave it into their show where it's actually interesting.
I will say that what Rick and Morty did do funny was that they seem to hate time travel. Poorly done time travel. They did that episode where they did it finally, and he's like, "You've created a loop, Morty. You've got to live with the consequences." Like, but I mean, it's funny that.
Oh my god, the one where he could just reset stuff. Oh my god, that story. It just it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking too, guys. So tell us again what you want us to go and check out right now.
Buy my book. Buy my book.
All right, that was a nice reference to the late '90s animated show, The Critic. So,
yep,
it stinks.
Yep.
Oh, you actually got the accent right. Oh my god, my favorite moment from The Critic where it's like the guy's shooting stuff and the guy's like, "Buy my book," and the guy's like, So, Turn Samurai issue 2 drops April 8th. I'll be doing a live stream. I'll be launching it. I'll be doing it live. With my buddy Anime Sparkster. We're going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be launching it live tonight, Saturday. Well, not really, but live, and it'll be awesome. And yeah, you are all invited. I'm just tossing out the invites like this.
I was going to say, man, doing stuff with Anime is always fun. He's
the one who edited the video, the video for Turn Samurai. That guy is so awesome. Such a cool guy. I love him to pieces. He's a great guy.